our profits have been growing. This is absolutely not the case, and our annual accounts are available. So I refer to that because the contrary is happening in our industry. And so the steep increase in illicit trade is also a consequence of this. So if you look, and our Australian colleague referred to it earlier, there's a huge price difference between the legit market and the illicit market. Our cheapest product on the market is Chesterfield. This sells for 140 per pack, where illicit brands are available between 40 and 50 pesos. So if I add up the excise and VAT, this is a minimum of 83 pesos. So I don't know how they can retail at 40 to 50 pesos. I know how, but it just illustrates the problem, if you ask me. So we collectively face an issue today with the excise tax roadmap. Illicit trade is growing, government revenues are substantially declining, and worse, the number of smokers are growing as well. We saw 4.4 million new users, which was also a number that was presented before by our colleagues here. So if you look at the future, and that's the next chart, that picture doesn't look much better, I have to say. Illicit is deemed to grow, total number of smokers likely to grow, and the government revenues are deemed to decline. 180 billion over the next 5 years decline if you add up the numbers. This is really, really substantial. So how do we recommend addressing this? We go to the next chart. We recommend a holistic approach with four key focus areas. First of all, the excise tax roadmap for cigarettes. We recommend adjusting the current excise tax roadmap as it is getting ineffective, as I have just illustrated, and not delivering its objectives. Instead of a 5% increase every year, we strongly recommend a model of 0% for even years and 6% for the odd years. With this, the industry doesn't have to pass on the excise tax every year, which gives some breathing space to the market and likely moderation of illicit. As well, that it brings tax increases more or less aligned to the inflation year on year. 0.6% will generate the highest excise tax collection, 120 billion pesos, incremental versus today's roadmap. That's our estimate. Alternatively, an option could be 2% in even years, 4% in odd years. And this gives round about an incremental 100 billion pesos versus today. Not as effective as the 0.6, but at least much better than the current roadmap we have today. And such change to a roadmap is not uncommon at all. If you look at neighboring countries, for example, or countries with a close proximity, and a few examples have been made, Singapore had a tax moratorium for 5 years and managed to bring illicit down from 30% to 10%, while government revenues were significantly increasing. Malaysia, and also last hearing, Mr. Nogales referred to this. They had a moratorium for 3 years to bring illicit trade under control, also increasing government revenues. And lastly, Hong Kong. They had an 8 years moratorium to manage illicit trade. Subsequently, they decided to increase the excise tax again, but that had the adverse effect of increasing illicit again. So now in 2025, they applied for a tax break again. So it's very common that these proposals are being adopted by countries. Second, and we discussed this extensively, to create a level playing field, we recommend a unification of the excise tax rates for vapor products. I believe we all agree on this, having heard everyone here. And depending on the rate itself, this will translate into at least 10 billion incremental revenue for the government. In addition to this, we advocate for continuation and even scale up of nationwide enforcement and prosecution, also on the back of the Anti-Agri Sabotage Act signed last year by President Marcos. But also here we discussed extensively, and thanks, Mr. Chair, for all your support, and all the government law enforcement agencies for all the support in the past as well. It's much appreciated. And last, what we recommend is intensified government-to-government collaborations to address the substantial inflows from countries into the Philippines. I'm talking, and I share your views about the countries: Indonesia, India, Vietnam, Cambodia, China, and China especially for illicit e-cigarettes. A possible outcome, for example, could be that we implement regulation where a manufacturer needs to meet the regulatory requirements of the country they produce for, the market they produce for. We have that in the Philippines, and it helps us in terms of enforcement tremendously. But if I look at Indonesia, a major country of inflow, they don't have such regulation. So what I mean is it cannot be enforced. If you have a manufacturer in Indonesia and they produce, they don't, for Philippines, they don't need to have the tax stamp of Philippines on the pack. They don't need to have the health warning of the Philippines on the pack. So they cannot enforce in Indonesia. And that's why I'm currently seeking your help in government to government engagements on that front. And we can help as well because we have substantial footprint in a country like Indonesia, like we have in the Philippines. So we are very happy to collaborate on such an initiative with you. So those were, in a nutshell, the key points I wanted to share. Thanks a lot for your time, Mr. Chair, and for the opportunity to share our perspectives. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Heiss. We'll call on Mr. Blake D. Is he still here? Wala na. Mr. Winston Uy of Universal Leaf Philippines.
Good afternoon, Senator. I represent Universal Leaf Philippines. We are the largest tobacco growing and processing company in the Philippines. We have over 100,000 farmers, and we have about 85% of the market here in the Philippines. I just wanted to relay again the concern of what everybody said. The illicit trade has I spend my life in trying to make the tobacco globally competitive, and we are globally competitive in tobacco. So it's a good livelihood for our farmers in up north, and the illicit trade has challenged our domestic manufacturers on their sales, and I've seen the sales being challenged and the demand going lower on a product that we feel is very globally competitive. This is in light of what we see right now. I commend the President in lowering the tariff for rice and corn, which benefits 100% of our population. I just realized that we're the only country that penalizes the common tao with basic food in that 35% tariff that we have. But in lowering it, it provides a tremendous challenge out there in the farm. I see them. I talk to them. We reinvent. We find ways. And I see the desperation now because all our farmers are basically rice and corn farmers. In Cagayan Valley, we have almost 200,000 hectares in corn. The average income of corn farmers right now has dropped from about 50,000 back, and then a perfectly grown crop without any problems will make 16,000. That's if everything's perfect. So almost all corn farmers is marginal at best. Rice farmers have gone down from 76,000 to 40,000 because of the tariff lowering, but world market prices are still high, but it will come down as well, which you've seen that already. So we are providing a lot of livelihood out there, good livelihoods, sustainable livelihoods, working together with our domestic manufacturers as well as our foreign customers. And I just wanted to reiterate the need for us to be responsible, to be sober-minded. The biggest problem we have, you asked a question earlier, why is everybody moving into vape? It is the cheapest form of nicotine. And the cheapest form of nicotine is in illicit vape. It's in illicit tobacco. So we're all here together with the health sector. Hopefully this health sector can understand the numbers that are skewed is based on the fact that illicit trade has gone up. It's not the business volumes of the legitimate manufacturers have come down. So there is, and for me, I face the farmers. I have a good crop, not as perfect. We worked our lives in making it globally competitive, but I see the pain of the farmers, and I'm providing. I've talked to our governors up north.